Welcome to Terrortown Talk. Coach Rocky Hidalgo. I'm your host, Coach Dan Meyers. We bring you live updates every week. Looking forward to our Friday night games and recapping the previous Friday nights. We want to thank our sponsors, Big Pyromics. If you want to make it go boom, he's the place to go check out. Also over there on St. Simon's Live Oak Agency, you know, I always turn to Phil for my insurance needs. Appreciate it, guys. Coach Rocky, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm good. It's Wednesday, short week. I woke up this morning, was thinking it was Tuesday, and was reminded about 9 o'clock that it was Wednesday. Suddenly got excited. So the weekend's one day closer. Game day's a day closer. Let's get ready to roll.
Amen to that. So you do talk about a short week. We practiced on Monday. How'd that go for you guys?
We did. And it was probably our best holiday. I tend to not have practices on like Labor Day because you have so many issues getting kids here. And it's not the guys who are playing on Friday nights. It's all the guys that you need to practice against. You don't have a scout team tailback. You don't have a scout team offensive lineman. So I try to avoid it. Columbus Day, or I guess it's Indigenous Peoples Day. It's either or, depending on where you go with that. It falls where it just kind of falls in the middle of the season. Don't have a choice there. The kids turned out. We didn't have any issues. Kids came out. We had a good practice that morning, and was a good day. Went and spent some time with my family after that, and ready to rock and roll against the Effingham Rebels coming up here.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll look forward to we'll talk about this coming up game in just a few minutes, but let's recap last Friday night, man. Big win.
It was. We did some good things, and last week was a long week for us because Monday was kind of and I'm still waiting to get our team to practice 3 good days of practice with a nice tight Thursday practice. We haven't done that yet, and that's a little frustrating for me. And I'm pushing our kids and challenging them to have great practices all week this week. Monday was kind of okay. Tuesday was awful. It was bad practice, and to the point that I literally just blew the whistle. I said, everybody get up. We're going to run for about 40 minutes. And then I'm going to send you home. And that's what we did. And we didn't get our team periods in. We came back last Wednesday, had a great Wednesday practice. Also, they owed me my team periods on Thursday. Usually our Thursdays are our helmets only practice. I put them in helmets and shoulder pads out there, and we ran our team periods. And they didn't slow down. We had a nice focused Thursday practice. Played pretty well Friday night. Our execution has got to get better on offense. We still have too many execution errors. And you can't beat good teams with execution errors. I mean, you can do it if you have great talent, but we don't have that. We don't have 9 Division I players, and we just kind of have some decent little high school football players. So our execution has got to get better. Defensively, I thought we played pretty well, kind of hemmed those guys up. Gave up a couple long runs, but we tackled people. We didn't let big plays become touchdowns, scoring plays, which is good. So I think we've seen some improvement. I really want to see our execution on offense get better. Offensive line, pad levels got to get down, got to step with the right feet, go to the right. We've got too many run-throughs going through there, and we should be past that at this point in time in the season. But it was a good win. Our kids played hard. We took over the game on the lines of scrimmage, and were able to get out of there with 38-0 win.
Yeah, you mentioned last week that their running back was probably one of the best players in the region. You guys seem to hem him up pretty well.
Yeah. He, and nothing against them. They don't have a whole lot around him. They're kind of struggling with some spots over there, but he's a really good player. Type of kid you'd love to have on your team, and he's a guy who can make some things happen, and he can beat you. I mean, the week before against Brunswick, he had a lot of big runs against Brunswick, and I think our kids did a nice job hemming him up. But he's probably the toughest kid in the region. Might be the toughest kid in the region to tackle.
Yeah, so far in region play, our defense is really putting up some good. Excuse me, can't talk today, guys. Sorry, tongue tied. Our team's putting up some good team defense. Looks like we're playing good fits, getting our eyes in the right spot.
We're getting better, and I think that's something. I think the progress was probably a little slow going, and I've said it. I think that's part of that is my fault and our fault. I think we did some things differently in the off season this year, tried some new stuff. Don't like the result of it, especially with our summer program. I'll go back to the way we run things previously in the summer. I think what we did is we spent a lot more time on what we do, but not enough on how we do it. We didn't condition the kids enough. So what ended up happening was we got in the season, we weren't in great shape, and our kids were trying to survive. And I think that's really been detrimental to kind of where we are right now in the year. And I take the blame for that. It's something, you always try to change and evolve, and I thought this would be good for us. I think part of that was we were having to drive over to Lanier Field to practice every day, so that was an additional hour. And so I didn't want to keep the kids up here for 7 hours during the day. So that probably impacted my thought process a little bit, but we got to do a better job of that in the off season.
Thanks, Coach. We're going to pause for a message from our sponsors.
This is Coach Rocky Hidalgo of the Glen Academy Red Terrors. When a whistle and a booming voice isn't quite enough, I turn to Pyromic to put on a show. From wedding sparklers to black cats to the Super Shell mortar, the largest reloadable mortar that you can purchase without the ATF coming to kick down your door, Pyromic has that special something that will fit in anyone's budget. For birthdays, anniversaries, corporate events, holidays, or gender reveal parties, Pyromic can help create a lasting memory for all your attendees at a great price. Or maybe you just want to be that guy and light off the Excalibur at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night. Mike can help with that too. Come out and visit Pyromic on Highway 341 across from the Tractor Supply Company. Go Terrors.
All right, welcome back, guys. So, Coach Rock, you mentioned we got Effingham this week. What can we expect to see out of them?
They like to throw the ball around. They've got some really good skill on the perimeter. Quarterback can throw it. He's not much of a runner, but he can get out and gets it out of his hands in a hurry. But they've got a lot of skill out there. A lot of those guys played for them last year, were sophomores last year. They're juniors this year. They're a year better. They're a pretty good football team. They're still trying to find their way, probably a lot like us. I think really the region is kind of made up of 4 or 5 teams that are kind of all clumped together right there. And very similar, and everybody's trying to make the fewest errors and see kind of squeak out a win here or there against the Effinghams and Richmond Hills and Statesboro of the world. But they play really hard. When you watch them, they're fundamentally sound on defense. They get their hands on offensive linemen. They squeeze. They scrape the place with the linebackers. They're really skilled in the secondary. They put those guys on the island a bunch, and we're going to have to take advantage of some of that. We've got to get the ball in the perimeter, get the ball out to Tyson Rooks and Greg Peacock and David Prince. And we've got to be effective running the football. We can't create. Last week against South Effingham, we had a lot of negative plays that we were able to kind of overcome with big plays. I don't like that. I don't like negative plays. You have a lot of negative plays, you're going to lose games. You're going to have trouble scoring. So we've got to cut out those negative plays. We got to positive yards. Get ourselves in second and medium, third and short, and then we can take advantage of the defense, what they're giving us. We can take our shots when we want to do them, as opposed to it's 3rd and 17. We have to throw the ball downfield. Against good teams, you're not going to be successful doing that. But they're a very well coached team. Their kids play really hard. I know they're coached very well. Kind of cut my teeth coaching with him up in Atlanta years ago. John Ford, he was the head coach at both Beaufort High School and Roswell, played for state championships for both those places. So it's, our kids, we're going to have to show up and play ball. If we show up and play ball, we win the game. If we don't, then we're not. It really comes down to what I've said, execution and focus. If our execution's good, our focus is good, then I think we'll be fine. If it's not, we're going to be in trouble.
Thanks, Coach. We got anything going on with freshman JV this year or this week?
Yeah, the JV and 9th grade are going to play together Thursday night here at at Lanier Field versus Benedictine. And we were scheduled to have JV and 9th grade. Benedictine wasn't able to do that. They've had some injuries over there, so we're going to combine those teams and play Thursday at 5 o'clock, Lanier Field. Come out and see the future of Glen Academy football. We got a lot of good young players, and still, that's been a weird year this year with COVID. Kind of kids have been out. We've had some injuries, so we haven't had a lot of consistency with either one of those groups. Games have been canceled here or there. So I'm trying to get 3 good games here to finish the year out of those guys, so we can end their year, take their stuff up, and have them having played 5 or 6 games. But man, in the age of COVID, it's just really hard for those sub-varsity guys, because when it hits, it's hard for teams to put together enough guys to go over and play a game, and it's impacted us and other people that we played.
Who's a freshman we need to look out for who hasn't quite made it up to the varsity level, playing down there in sub-varsity?
We've got a lot of really good young freshmen over there. and I think it's going to be a good group of kids. Everybody knows Greg Peacock. I think some other guys. I think Jaden Ellis is a kid that people is probably going to play next year for somewhere, either in the backfield or in the secondary. Ben Beltran is another kid that has a chance to be really good. I think there's some other guys down there that maybe next year, maybe on down the line. Quay Evans is a defensive lineman, offensive lineman, has a chance. Mitch Weaver, as an offensive lineman, has got to have a chance. If I can get him in some athletic shorts, he goes to practice every day in like a bathing suit or something. I don't know what that's about.
AFCOs,
AFCOs, that's exactly right. At least he's not wearing fishing shoes, boat shoes out there. There's a lot of group. Jameer Williams is a kid that has a chance to be a good player. We've got quite a few of those guys, probably 12 or 13 of those guys have a chance next year, by the end of next year, to make an impact on Friday. So I like that class of kids. The thing I like about them is they show up every day. There's no problems in that class. I always talk to our kids, we need players, not problems. And there's no drama queens down there, and you get into drama queens, they detract from everything you're trying to do. There's none of that down there. I have them all first block. They show up, they lift weights, they don't complain, they work really hard. And I think that's going to be a really good class of kids for us over the next 3 years.
Fantastic. Really looking forward to their development. Scout Team Player of the Week this week?
We had we talked about this as a staff yesterday. Probably Joseph Foster. Joseph Foster's done a really nice job for us, both on scout offense and scout defense, a wide receiver and cornerback. He's a talented kid, probably going to play a big role for us somewhere next year. But he's really worked hard. His attitude's improved, and he goes out every day. He works really hard, gives a great look over there. He makes plays. You watch him against the older kids. He's out there making plays as he's competing, and that's what we want from those kids.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's how you build a program. How neat is it? We're the 5th oldest high school in the nation. How neat is it to have these kids whose families, you mentioned Jaden Ellis. I know his mom was a basketball star back here in the late 90s, early 2000s. How neat is it to have these kids that are legacy kids that are invested in this program?
I'll tell you a story about Jaden Ellis. So, Coach Wright took Zach and some of our players up to West Georgia. And Zach, Jaden's younger brother, Zach, got to see his mom is in the Hall of Fame there for basketball, and got to see his mom's plaque on the walls first time. I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
And so he actually went up to watch his mom's induction in the Hall of Fame up there, and while he was up there, he didn't know it, he saw Coach Wright was playing in the game that day. So that's kind of a cool little thing about the Ellises over there. But it's interesting here because I've run into people whose grandparents are some 80, 85, 90-year-old people who've come up to me who went to school at Glenn Academy. Their kids have gone to school here. Their grandkids and their great-grandchildren have gone to school here. So there's a bunch of that where we're starting to get some kids whose I've been here long enough. Some kids it won't be long. We're going to start seeing some kids that I've coached who are going to have kids that are coming through here. And there's some of them playing out there in the rec department I've seen already. But you see guys like Greg Peacock's dad played here. There's a bunch of them whose parents have a tradition here at Glenn Academy, love and support the program. I know that's the same way across town over there. But you run into those guys who bleed red and white, and they're here. They go to all the games, and they're going to send their kids to school here, and hopefully be part of a big winning tradition that we've built here and continue to carry on.
Coach, we're going to pause for a minute for a message from our sponsors.
Hello, Red Terror fans. This is Coach Rock, head coach of the Glenn Academy Red Terrors. In my business, there's no better way to ensure victory than having a great game plan and being focused on the details. Phil Setzer of the Live Oak Agency on St. Simon's Island brings the same attention to your insurance needs as the Red Terror staff brings to winning on Friday nights. A locally owned boutique agency, the Live Oak Agency carefully selects its carriers in order to provide you with the best level of service, price, and coverage available. From the basics like home, auto, and boat insurance to your farming, business, or commercial needs, the Live Oak Agency can ensure your interest regardless of the circumstances. Come visit Phil and his staff at 1700 Frederica Road, Suite 202 on St. Simon's Island, or give him a call at 912-434-4220. Live Oak Agency, a proud sponsor of Glenn Academy football. Go Terrors.
All right, welcome back, guys. Coach, couple fun questions to end the day. If you weren't a football coach, what would you be doing?
I tell my wife I'd probably be a male model. She doesn't believe me. I don't know how that works. There's that rule out there. There's something for everybody. And somebody out there likes to look at old, fat, balding men. And so I'm just telling you, whoever you are, check out my Patreon account. You can take pictures of this. No, man, that's a good question. I would probably do something entrepreneurial. Both my wife and I have owned businesses, and probably still running that. When one day when I'm done with this, I'll probably do that again. That was fun for me, building something, and maybe do that again one day. But probably it would work for myself. I don't like taking orders from people. Anybody who's ever tried to give me orders knows this about me.
I'm sorry, Kelly.
That's it. Both my wife and Mr. Blackstone probably sitting at home going, golly, because it is. I've always been that way since I was 2 years old. I want to do what I want to do, and everybody else. I think it was the old adage that the old saying that rules are for people that need those rules. I was one of those people that didn't think I need rules, and I probably do. So it's one of the I probably work for myself. Yeah.
Fantastic. Saw something exciting out in the hallway. Barber's chair. You gonna get a haircut, Coach?
I think they can probably take care of my hair. So this is a neat thing that we probably should have had Coach Mathis come in and talk about this. We might have him next week come in and talk about it. So it was something he presented to me. He had some people from the community that wanted to volunteer. And, people don't think about this. Our players are up here. They're up here at school during the day. They're up here at practice until, roughly 7 o'clock. So they don't have a lot of free time during the day to go do things like that and go get a haircut. And people put that they don't understand that stuff sometimes, and so Coach Mathis has spoken with some people in the community who want to come over and volunteer their time to come over and work with the kids and cut their hair. But also, it's one of those we wanted to kind of set this. A lot of the colleges doing. They do this what they call the chop talks and all that stuff, and so we thought it would be neat to have our kids come in and we have somebody come in and cut their hair, but also have people come in and have a topical discussion each week. So, a lot of our kids, the only time they're around, men in many respects are on the practice field with our coaches. So this will be an opportunity for them to be around different men and talk about some social issues that might help them kind of understand the world better or function better as men. Because the goal of this, as I tell them all the time, is the world doesn't need a bunch of 40-year-old boys. That's not what we need, and we need to do a great job of raising men and developing men in this country, because the world, we need women too. But I'm a guy. I tell my wife all the time, I don't know much about raising women. I was never a girl, but I've raised 1,000 boys in my 25 years coaching football, and help these guys, these men grow in, or these young men grow into men that we can all be proud of and make an impact on our community, a positive impact on our community. And so this is an opportunity for us to come in and provide a service for them, but also have some people come in and talk to them and talk about some issues that might be troubling, just talk about life a little bit. And I think it's a great way to deliver a message to some of these kids without them feeling like they're getting preached at. And I think we'll probably have Coach Mathis maybe come in next week and talk about some of this. But I love the idea when he presented it to me. I think it's going to be exciting, I think the kids are excited by it. We're hoping to get this up and running next week and have somebody in. We've made a little investment with a barber chair and kind of build a set out there and have the kids come in. Hopefully, we'll get some good haircuts, but also we'll get some knowledge kind of permeate those hard heads of theirs.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. I love the fact that you're looking at that well-rounded approach. I've got a couple students I'm going to recommend for haircuts that I teach. You guys know who I'm talking about. The old football days. Flat tops all around, right?
I'm letting mine grow out. I'm letting it grow out for a Halloween costume.
Okay.
It's driving me crazy. I don't have much, but my Halloween costume is going to require some longer hair. So this is it, America. So maybe a Halloween. I don't know if it'll be ready for next week, but we're going to try.
Let's keep that going. Let's get some locks for love.
Let's go. I used to have some long, luscious hair, and then I got into coaching and dealing with teenagers, and everything at the top is gone.
Just gone.
Or my kids. I'm not sure which one it is, but
I've met Cooper.
That's it. Yeah. That would do it too.
Have
you met any of my players? My players will do it too before just as much as Cooper.
So, Well, guys, this is Terrytown Talk with Coach Rocky Hidalgo. I'm your host, Dan Meyers. We appreciate you guys checking in. Make sure you're following us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. I don't even know what they all are anymore.
I don't. I got none.
So, yeah, check them all out. Away game this week, so make the ride up to Effingham if you can, or check us out on the radio. And we'll be back next week. Have a good one, Coach.
Go Terrors.
Go Terrors.